Party nerds, 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 party nerds.
What's up, party nerds? This is Grandmaster FAQS, 1/8 of the Party Nerds posse, 1/20th of the Party Nerds worldwide team. We're going to do something a little bit different than our live format that we usually do on Tuesday nights on Wildfire Radio. Here at Party Nerds Presents Grandmaster FAQS, you will see opinion-based and factual comic books, source material, pop culture, movies, TV shows, whatever may have you. And I'm glad to bring it here to you. I appreciate the Party Nerds for giving me this opportunity. This is my first solo podcast alone. And as it see fit, here it goes. I'm sure that everybody has had the question automatically go in the back of their minds as to what does Marvel have in store for Phase 4. It's almost been a vast array of items that have come to mind just based on the assortment of things that we've seen played out in Phase 3 with Black Panther, with Ragnarok, and the introduction of Hela, in the cosmic sense, Valkyrie, Infinity War, where we know the Black Order is going to play a part as Thanos' henchman, Captain Marvel coming online, and now introducing the Skrulls, who we really didn't think were going to be introduced. It was sort of a things to come that we saw was going to come alive, but it was somewhat intriguing. We take a look at Guardians of the Galaxy and kind of how that molded Marvel to step away from the Earth realm, as we've seen only tads and bits of it in the Thor franchise. But Guardians of the Galaxy has definitely been the glue and the balloon that expanded the MCU. Therefore, introducing a vast array of characters that I can see pushing the envelope way farther than what a lot of people would have imagined. As we know in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, is we are going to now be introduced finally to Adam Warlock. Now, I did a piece in the Party Nerds website regarding the fact of the omission of characters like Adam Warlock in the Infinity War movie. Being as how Infinity War is, of course, ultimately tied to the Infinity Gauntlet trailer, and Adam Warlock playing a huge part in the entire story, and another character that has foreseen himself to also be a part of that story, Silver Surfer, who, don't get me started, but Marvel has ultimately downplayed that character to a T, and how much of a pivotal role he's played in not only just a multitude of battles that have happened over the years, but the relationships that he's had with some of the superheroes we know and love that are currently in the MCU, notable Doctor Strange, Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. Even though when they finally did put him in a Fantastic Four movie, he was not even an intricate character. He was more of a symbol than anything. It was just this sign of darkness for just being a herald to Galactus. Even though Galactus wasn't even in the movie, he was literally a shadow beyond the clouds. You saw the form of his face and his body structure, and then that was it. That was the end of his character. That's the most that you've seen of that man. You saw him in one, maybe two battle scenes. Two battle scenes. The one Conjuring up at the end, and the first one where he had with Doctor Doom in the movie. It was unfortunate. It was extremely unfortunate. You know, Norrin Rad as a alien scientist was completely omitted from having any type of substance in the MCU, and it was completely disheartening. Now, going back to Adam Warlock, this is a man who, of course, is in the not the current lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy, but is a member. He has been a vastly powerful figure in the cosmic entities of the MCU, and has been a favorite amongst a lot of Marvel comic fans, including myself, where we've seen multiple characters that have popped in. Eternity and Infinity and the In-Betweener, Annihilus. These are just some of the names that have popped out that I'm sure Marvel has taken note of, that maybe they could push the envelope on and see exactly where they can fit and include these people, because you got to understand, for those of us that have been avid comic book readers for decades, you know, we see the issues and the stories that can be made, but putting them into a major motion picture is definitely a bit of a conundrum. They want to do the right thing, but they also have to entertain, and I get that. But there's only but so much you can fit into a 2-hour movie that doesn't provide excitement, awe, mystery, and at the end of the day, substance. So with Phase 4, we're almost asking ourselves, what can we do at this point? We've done sequels on sequels to some of the greatest in the franchise, namely Iron Man, Thor. We've done 2 Hulk movies beforehand, before we've seen them in the 2 Avengers movies, and now currently in Thor 3 and Ragnarok. We have 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but we're going to be introduced to a couple new characters in Phase 3, with possibly their own origin stories. Of course, in Captain America Civil War, we were introduced to T'Challa himself, the Black Panther, and that will be releasing in a solo origin setting very soon. And then we also, on the other hand, have coming online Captain Marvel. It'll be Marvel's first take on a tremendously powerful female figure, a la DC with Wonder Woman, where we see someone who has some of the most ultra powerful capabilities that we've ever seen in the Marvel universe. I don't think we've had anybody except for Thor that has showcased this type of ability. And we're going to find it interesting. This is a one woman wrecking crew. For those of us that know Captain Marvel from the comics, Captain Marvel is not just Carol Danvers. It is a multiple entity unit, much like the plenty of Marvel superheroes. It's not always just one person. Any person can carry on the mantle. Carol Danvers is just but one Captain Marvel that has been with us throughout the years. And I expect to do a good job, a damn good job. Brie Olson is definitely a highly acclimated actress, and I gotta say, Marvel always seems to find very good actors to play these roles. Now, don't get me started on maybe like the TV show series, but as far as their movies, their feature films, Marvel Studios does tend to pick some very good characters. Take recently Guardians of the Galaxy 2, introducing Sylvester Stallone as Starhawk. Of course, he's going to be known to play a bigger role. You saw, like, even in just the smallest roles, Michelle Yeoh and Ving Rhames are now a part of the original Guardians of the Galaxy lineup from when the comic was introduced. Some of the first original characters, they were put in that scene where Yondu was being sended off in that dramatically climactic way, and it was a great scene with this vast array of great actors that probably will be able to play a part in a lot of great feature films to come. I guess it's safe to say that Marvel has been able to reach out and collect talent to play subsidiary roles, feature roles, and even extras. The director of Thor Ragnarok, Takeshi Waititi, is going to be an extra on set in full costume. Just because he wanted to be a part of the magic himself. But not to just gather your thoughts and collect yourself into it. Just take the time to think about who you would like to see in Phase 4. If there is even going to be a Phase 4. My thoughts, I've had many. Nova being one of them. Richard Rider himself. We were introduced to the Nova Corps in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I believe that the Richard Rider character of Nova himself is a great push forward in the right direction. I believe that the ultimate swag nod that we got from Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland, but we're not sure where that contract is going to be in the next couple years with Spider-Man, if it's going to go back to Sony, if it's going to stay with Marvel Studios, or they're going to continue to do the half and half and allow it to be what it is. But we expected so much, and we got a lot out of it as far as the mystery and the small little Easter eggs that we received. Of course, Donald Glover's character in the comics is the Prowler, and the Prowler, of course, is the uncle to Miles Morales. Miles Morales is now currently the Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man in the comic book franchise. Now, it was a little compelling because is this where we're going to lean? Is Tom Holland just not signed up contractually for a couple of films to where it's ultimately just going to be a passing of the torch in the next couple of years to find someone to push the franchise through? I mean, we've done so many reboots of Spider-Man. Could we obviously do with another? And, for those of us that read the comics, Miles Morales is a very strong character. And to the point where he's almost, and he has beaten Peter Parker once already. He's not anybody to be dealt with. But shout out to Axel Alonso, in the editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics, because he's adapted. Not that he's adapted these stories, but the writers, he's allowed the writers to adapt these stories to lead us into Kevin Feige, who is an absolute genius. It has given him forthright to see the ability to take these characters and continue them over and over again. Now, as we all know, nobody dies in the comics. We just see a refresher of sense of what can be for the coming years. What we know is that now Thor is a woman. It is Jane Foster. Jane Foster now carries the Thor mantle. Riri Williams is now the purveyor of the Iron Man technology, passed on from Tony Stark. The Captain America franchise has dipped a couple of times. Bucky Barnes, of course, as we know, and quite may well be the next Captain America. But we also do know, just from reading the source material, that Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, is now Captain America. So these are the directions that we can go into, but ultimately it's, who are we going to want to see introduced to carry on the mantle? We have Ant-Man and Wasp that's going to be coming online pretty soon. But these are, of course, could they be parts of a bigger plan? Could there be some other people that you would like to see? As I've talked about in the future, in the past, Silver Surfer, I believe, is a contract that should definitely be put on the table. And for those of you that do not know, there was almost a sports-like trade that happened in the MCU and Fox Marvel universes. There was a trade that happened. For those that don't know, Silver Surfer was traded for Daredevil. For Daredevil to be done for the first time with Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, Colin Farrell, they traded the rights to Silver Surfer to Fox. Now, ultimately, I would like this to be put on the table again because I believe that Marvel Studios or someone with the right amount of gall can do a hugely big favor to all of us by making a tremendous Silver Surfer movie. He was an ultimately powerful and popular character in the 80s and the early 90s. And even though we got a glimpse of him, I mean, most of us, when we heard that he was going to be in that Fantastic Four movie, just before we even saw the movie and realized it was shit, we all shit our pants because we heard that Silver Surfer was going to be in the movie. We did. But if you do, take some time, man. Tell us your thoughts. Will the Avengers be an entire brand new lineup? Who would you see after a Steve Rogers possibly leaving the fold and Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. himself obviously leaving MCU? Because these people are not going to do movies for the rest of your life. Who is exactly going to carry the mantle of the Avengers? That whole lineup is going to change. We're getting introduced to new characters day in and day out. Who do we see that is going to keep the envelope going? Is Marvel and Universal actually going to sit down and have a constructive conversation to the point where we can get a solo Hulk movie? And we hope that we get a Planet Hulk movie after that. But I want for everybody to take the time. If you gotta send your information on Twitter to Kevin Feige himself, to Axel Alonso, the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, please feel free to do so. It is your opinion. It is your duty to do so. All right. So I'm going to continue on. This is Grandmaster FAQS. I'd like to thank everybody for paying attention and listening in to my first solo podcast. I will continue to do so weekly. Check me out on Partynerdz presents Grandmaster FAQS. You can check us as the Partynerdz crew. Every Tuesday on Wildfire Radio. We will be back in October for a brand new season. And you can, if you haven't had a chance to pick up or look at any of our podcasts, you can check us out at Partynerdz. That's PARTYNERDZ on your search engine in podcasts. Take a look for us. We're always here to entertain, push the envelope, and let you know what's what out there in the universe. This is Grandmaster FAQS signing off.
Party nerds, 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 party nerds.